Parlez-vous français? If you do, the 2025 Canada Summer Games may need your help.
We are going to need up to around 5,000 volunteers.
I'm Mike Moore. I'll have that story coming up on Here and Now.
The signature elements of Kathak dance are the spins, or what we call the chakkars, and the very fast percussive footwork that happens, and we wear bells on our feet.
What does an evening of Kathak mean? Well, the artistic director of Mural Art will let you know. All that coming up on Here and Now.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to a special 30-minute edition of Here and Now. The show is slightly shorter tonight due to the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And that's where we begin. Many federal and provincial employees had the day off today, but as Here and Now's Peter Cowan reports, a group representing Indigenous people is calling for the day to be recognized as a provincial statutory holiday.
The National Day for Truth and Reconciliation is a somber one, with ceremonies to mark the history of residential schools in this country. For First Light, which organized this event in St. John's, it's clear, like Remembrance Day, this should be a day off for everyone.
I think that it definitely should be a full public holiday.
Stacey Howe says it would send a message about the importance of the day if everyone, not just government workers, had the day off.
It's important for people to understand the history of residential schools, the abuse, the disparities that exist to this day between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples, and to learn about the truth before we work towards truth and reconciliation, as we've heard many times before.
A year ago, the provincial government said that was still under consideration. The province said consultations would continue with Indigenous governments and organizations and the business and labor sector on the prospect of declaring September 30th a public day of reflection under the Labour Standards Act. But a year later, is that still the case? When asked about those consultations, the provincial government didn't directly answer, instead providing the following statement. Engagement with Indigenous governments, organizations, and leaders continues on a wide range of issues related to truth and reconciliation, including how to publicly recognize and honor the survivors, families, and communities impacted by residential schools. When we asked about a statutory holiday specifically, no answer. Provinces and territories remain divided. It's up to businesses in these provinces to decide whether or not to give workers the day off. Not so in British Columbia, PEI, and the territories, which recognize it as a stat holiday for everyone. Whether people are working or not, House says she hopes people take the time to learn a little more about the history of Indigenous people in this province.
Ask yourself, what can you do as an individual, as a community member?
Peter Cowan, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, there was a sea of orange in downtown St. John's Saturday as hundreds gathered in front of the Colonial Building to mark the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. The event honored residential school survivors, and the crowd also called for action.
Today is a day to honor and acknowledge the resilience, dignity, and strength of residential school survivors. Why do you wear orange on Truth and Reconciliation Day? Please ask yourselves that.
Every year it seems like to be getting a bigger and bigger crowd, and makes you feel good. At least someone is hearing our voices, which our voices were never heard before. Gives me a heavy heart and a happy heart to see all this today. Yeah, very grateful.
We are just overwhelmed with the amount of support that we have seen here this afternoon. It's actually quite powerful. The fact that we've had so many barriers and Indigenous people continue to be resilient and continue to practice our ceremonies, speak our language, teach our children, and more people are learning the truth of history and wanting to show up and be an ally and show their support. It's so powerful because it really does give us hope for the future.
We need the children and our youth today they got a lot to do in this world, and work together with respect to each other, and that's the road to recovery, I think, too, is Indigenous children working together with non-Indigenous. No matter who you are, we're still human, we still have feelings. Because you got a different color, well, every child matters.
Now to the West Coast, students in Corner Brook used paint, moss, even fur to create a new mural to mark the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. We visited the Halibut First Nation Community Center for a look.
A mural. There was like a bunch of fur and paint and like decorations and like beads and stuff.
Well, I just like representing and stuff. So like when I draw stuff, like certain things I draw, like sometimes it represents the mountains and the grass.
Okay.
And I also did that handprint right here. I did this residential school kid and the sign. And also this little YouTube sign thing. Just felt like I should draw him because like no one else was really drawing like a residential school kid on there. Like there was some other things, and I just felt like maybe I should do one. It's about to honor the kids at the residential school, and also the story about a little girl who was going to go to a residential school, and her grandmother gave her this orange shirt to wear, and she was excited to wear it, but then when she got there, they wouldn't allow her to wear it.
I made a rainbow and I drew some flowers and I did a hang, and I did a handprint, and I did my name with a heart on it and just my normal name, and I just did a blob. So I got paintbrush and I dipped it in paint, and then I painted my hand, and then I put my hand on it.
Fun. And why did you draw flowers and a sunshine? Like, why did you want to do that?
Because I thought it was really creative to do it.
Well, a missing hunter was found dead over the weekend. Crews had been searching the area of Grand Le Pierre on the Burin Peninsula. The public was asked to avoid an area of Route 211 near Black Duck Pond on Friday as they conducted a ground search. The missing man was located Saturday, and no other information is known at this time. In other news, the province's minimum wage went up over the weekend. It now sits at $15 an hour. That's a 50-cent increase. This is the second time minimum wage has gone up in 2023. Just a year ago, the province's minimum wage was $13.70. Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island also increased their minimum wage to $15. A well-known educational facility in St. John's will be expanding to include 55 daycare spots next year. The Flavarium is changing its banquet room into an early learning childcare center. On Friday, our CBC cameras got a peek at the progress.
Here at the Flavarium, we are so proud and so happy that we'll be part of that. On behalf of the board and the staff, let me say that we're honored that our space will be a place for 55 families in the metro area for years to come that'll offer affordable, quality, and very educational childcare in the city. People are familiar with the Flavarium, obviously. They know our interpretation center downstairs, and we have, below that we have the tanks. That's all gonna stay, but the event space upstairs, that's where we are right now. That's going to turn into an early learning childcare center. 55 spaces, $10 a day, and it's going to be for children aged 18 months to 5 years, 9 months. Well, you know, we've always been in the business of early education, right? I mean, that's what the Flavarium is. It's an education facility. We educate our youth in the metro area about river and wildlife ecology, about the importance of the environment and being good stewards of the environment. So this was a natural fit for us. It was something our executive director, Chantel Butler, came across, put a lot of effort into, and we think this better aligns with our mandate than just having an event space. There's a lot of event spaces around. There's not a lot of childcare spaces around, so we thought it was a good fit, and we're excited to do it. And what I would say to people watching at home is that, you know, we appreciate the enthusiasm, but it is going to take us time to get these spaces ready. We're not taking names right now. We're not giving the names away to other people, like the 55 spaces, they're all there. And when the time comes and we're ready, we will post that on our social media. So if you're interested, please follow the Flavarium. You know, if you call us tomorrow or today or send us a message, we're not taking names right now. We anticipate that all the rooms will be open by spring 2024, maybe sooner, maybe a little bit later, but we're gonna open when we feel it's right, yeah.
Well, there's plenty of preparation needed for St. John's to play host to the 2025 Canada Games. The event needs infrastructure and also thousands of volunteers, especially French-speaking volunteers, and finding them is proving to be a challenge for organizers. The CBC's Mike Moore explains.
We're just under 2 years away from the city of St. John's playing host to the 2025 Canada Summer Games. The last time the games were held here was in 1977.
Yes, here comes the host province.
A lot has changed. New infrastructure is needed, along with a new volunteer staff. The games need 5,000 volunteers to chip in so the event runs smoothly. The challenge is finding nearly 500 who can also speak French. Peter Smith is on the board of directors for the Canada Games Host Society.
There's no doubt it's going to require a large effort to go get the maximum of francophones and bilingual anglophones out there to make this work. And that's why, but I'm very optimistic it's going to work.
According to Stats Canada, only 5.4% of this province's population say they're bilingual, and under 1% speak French as their first language. Karen Sheriffs is CEO of the 2025 Canada Games Host Society. Her offices sit mostly empty for now, but will be abuzz with about 75 staff members in the next few months. Sheriff says a great deal of interest already exists among prospective bilingual volunteers. Some will include athletes, others may come from outside of the province.
Yes, the roles will be varied, as you can imagine. From 5,000, we'll need people from, driving vehicles from our motor pool perspective, standing at our transportation hub and, helping teams load on and off buses, in venues, ticketing, minor technical officials.
Both Smith and Sheriff say they're optimistic that things will work out. The official recruitment drive will begin about a year out from the beginning of the games, which are slated for August of 2025. Mike Moore, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, artists from across Canada have been showcasing their dance skills in St. John's. It's part of the neighborhood Dance Works Festival of New Dance. We spoke with an artistic director visiting from Ontario to learn more about the Indian dance Kathak.
So Kathak is a dance form that originates from the north part of India, what we now recognize politically, the northern part of that region. But, it has many different influences. So India itself is such a diverse country that you have so many languages, you have thousands of years of history. So Kathak dance is kind of a combination of a number of elements, that there were temple dances that existed in India, in South India, Eastern India, and then Kathak emerged out of the influences of the Mughals who came from what is now Central Asia. And with them, they brought their own style of music, their own clothing style, their religion, and all those influences sort of colored the dance form that we see. So the signature elements of Kathak dance are the spins, or what we call the chakkars, and the very fast percussive footwork that happens, and we wear bells on our feet to bring out that percussive element. For Kathak dance, we have bigger hoop skirts because we're doing spins, and so the costumes are designed to bring out the beauty of that dance form. It's interesting, when we talk about what is Canadian, because I grew up in Canada. I've lived here all my life. I am a Canadian citizen, and I actually grew up and I started learning Indian dance in St. John's, Newfoundland, through the Hindu Temple of St. John's. And we had a dance school that operated for many years, and I actually was a teacher there for a few years. And so I've always thought of our dance, our languages, our culture as being Canadian. A lot of the choreography that I do is a mixture of what people perceive as traditional, but I try to also work with dancers of different styles. So one of the pieces that we're doing is based on Kathak and urban dance, so hip-hop language. So it's showing how we have a rhythmic language, we have an aesthetic that isn't just one thing. It can be as contemporary as anything else.
And in the weather, Newfoundland is under mostly clear skies tonight with some cloud moving in, and the story, some rain moving in for Labrador West. We'll tell you all about that ahead with your weather forecast.
This weather update is brought to you by Steamatic Canada, the undisputed choice in restoration. Don't panic. Call Steamatic.
Well, we've really been enjoying some great weather, Heather. Some summer-like days over the past few days. How long is that going to be sticking around?
Well, you know, it'll be a nice day tomorrow here on the East Coast, but we've got some rain moving in for Lab West tonight, and we could see some rain and some showers sweep across the province tomorrow. But boy, did we have an absolutely lovely weekend, lots of sunshine. But let's take a look first at our current conditions here in St. John's outside of our studios in CBC. It's 13 degrees and the winds are really light out of the east, only 6 kilometers per hour. So another beautiful day. Our temperature is just a few degrees off today's high here, which was 16 in St. John's. And, you know, temperatures today for the island portion of the province between 14 to 20 degrees. So another lovely fall day out there. Things a little bit cooler in Labrador, between 8 in Nain and 9 in Churchill Falls, 10 in Hopedale, Makkovik and Lab West, 13 in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and in Cartwright today. So you guys had a lovely day as well. But that weather is on the way. Tonight, though, it looks like we will have clear to cloudy skies across most of the province except Lab West, which we just talked about. Some rain and showers moving across the province tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, it looks like it's going to be another, pretty nice day, but we could have a chance of showers on the coast of Labrador. So that's why we have the sun and cloud icon with a few showers. But first, let's take a look at that smoke that we've been talking about. That has been the story for a lot of last week. It looks like a lot of that smoke is now moving away from the province. Taking a look at our future tracker. Clear skies for the island for the most part. To some cloud, increasing cloud in the overnight. But this is the story up here for Lab City. We're going to see some rain move in here as we go into the overnight. We're going to see this cloud push across the island by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, with this rain right here going to affect and sweep probably pretty quickly across the province, according to our friends at Environment Canada. Taking a closer look at our temperatures for tonight, between 5 and 11 degrees here for the island, 7 in St. John's under a few clouds. Pretty clear, though, for Gander and Marystown. As you can see, 9 to 10 degrees there. Cool in central Newfoundland, Grand Falls, Windsor, with some cloud there, and a little bit warmer for the west coast here, but up into the Straits and St. Anthony, back down into the single digits. Same thing for Cartwright and for Nain as well. 2 in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, Lab City. You could pick up some showers there with your winds west to northeast, switching around 20 kilometers per hour. You could pick up 5 millimeters of precipitation. By the time we wake up tomorrow morning, Lab West, you'll be under some clouds. Your rain looks like it will have moved on, and that will be making its appearance as we go into the lunch hour over the northern peninsula and then start to sweep across the west coast and in through central, meeting us here on the east coast by the evening hours for the northern part of the Avalon. As we go into tomorrow now, it looks like another lovely day in the daytime for the Avalon Peninsula. 17 in St. John's, a degree cooler on the southern Avalon and in Marystown, and on the lovely Bonavista Peninsula as well. But as we move a little further west, we'll pick up some of those rain clouds. We could see 2 to 4 millimeters in through central Newfoundland. More cloud, though, for the south coast and Harbour Breton, Burgeo, Port aux Basques at 17 degrees for you folks. Picking up some more of those rain clouds here on the west coast, 2 to 4 millimeters, really anywhere you see this cloud icon on the map. As we move on up to the northern peninsula, it looks like we'll see 10 degrees there for the northern peninsula, 9 in Cartwright and 12 in Mary's Harbour, and your temps between 7 and 11 with some chance of showers here for Lab City. As we take a look at our extended forecast, looking like another set of decent days as we move into the rest of the week, picking up more precipitation for western Newfoundland and central Newfoundland. And as we go on up into the Big Land, some more precipitation. Thursday looking nice in the west, Thursday looking showery in the east. And that is your weather forecast. Carolyn?
Thanks, Heather. Yes, another look at that gorgeous evening out there in St. John's. Stay with us. Just ahead, we'll be sharing your birthday and anniversary announcements from Friday.
Healer.
Well, we didn't get to the birthdays and anniversaries on Friday, so here's a look at who's celebrating. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Mary and Austin Miles of Labrador City. Congratulations to Violet and Jake King of Broad Cove. It's their 61st anniversary. Wishing Alvin and Josephine Simmons of Cannings Cove, Bonavista Bay a happy 64th anniversary. It's a golden anniversary for Chris and Patty Ann Ashley of St. John's. Harvey and Ruth Hiscock are also celebrating 50 years of marriage. Congratulations. Happy 62nd anniversary to Dave and Effie Hollett of Goose Bay. Anniversary greetings going out to Fred and Teresa Collins of Winterland on their 55th anniversary. Happy 53rd wedding anniversary to Ruth and Cyril Kirby of Deer Lake. And it's a 50th anniversary for Marie and Ted Walsh of Holyrood. Wishing Baz and Linda Buckle from Corner Brook a happy 56th anniversary. Congratulations to Ed and Shirley Eastman of Grand Falls, Windsor. They're marking 65 years of marriage. Happy anniversary to Roland and Marguerite Hilliard. They've been married for 60 years. Happy 53rd anniversary to Kathy and Dennis Norman of Bellevue, Trinity Bay. Best wishes to Chess and Joyce Hurl of Okerpit Cove, who are celebrating 61 years of marriage. And it's a 60th anniversary for Chess and Yvonne Jackson of Cavendish. Happy 56th anniversary to Effie and Walter John Matthews from New Chelsea. Wishing Uriah and Mary Rumbold from Castor River a happy 50th anniversary. Now to some birthdays. Happy birthday to Frances Hollander of St. John's, who just turned 101. Birthday greetings going out to Eva Vivian of St. John's, who's celebrating her 93rd birthday. Wishing Eileen Hall in Gander a happy 92nd birthday. Happy 95th birthday to Nellie Power of Marysvale. Best wishes to Mona McCauley of Summerside, Bay of Islands, on her 91st birthday. Birthday greetings going out to Maud Reed, who's celebrating her 94th birthday. Happy 93rd birthday to Madeline Kavanagh of Flat Rock, now living in St. John's. Happy 92nd birthday to Raymond Flynn of Lansaloo. Wishing Annie Green of Winterton, now in Carbonear, a happy 96th birthday. Happy birthday to Viola Reed. She's celebrating her 94th. Happy 97th birthday to Bessie Taylor of Raleigh, now in St. Anthony. Wishing Reverend Lockley Fiander a happy 93rd birthday. He's from Fortune and now lives in St. John's. Best wishes to Pearl Patey of St. Anthony, who's turning 92. Birthday greetings going out to Jane Butt of Robinson's. It's her 98th. Happy birthday to Dennis Nash of Branch, who's celebrating his 95th birthday. Edgar Wells just turned 90. He's from Trinity Bay and now lives in Gander. Happy 90th birthday to Francis Moore of New Harbor. Happy 91st birthday to Eric Reed in Port Basque. Wishing Marie Guiney of Gould's a happy 93rd birthday, and birthday greetings going out to Douglas Ivany, who's a Korean War veteran from Random Island and Mount Pearl. He turns 95 tomorrow. Another fine crowd. Congratulations once again. And that about does it for us this evening. We're going to return to our regular hour-long show tomorrow night, and you'll be here with us tomorrow evening as well.
We will.
Well, that's it for us. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.